Welcome to my Wellness Rewired, Hacking Women's Health. Join Larissa and Malerie as they explore biohacking tips for women based on the latest science and research available today. Let them help you unlock your best self. It's time to hack smarter, not harder, together.
Did it, we made it, and we're here. So,
and that's a win.
That's a win. All right. Hello. Welcome back. We are here day 3 of our 72-hour fast that Larissa and I sat down and decided to do together. So we made it. We opened our eating window. We've recovered. Well, I've recovered. What did you think overall of the 72-hour fast?
I have never been more excited about a countdown in my life.
Countdown to eating again.
When I woke up and I was like, okay, I have 8 hours until I get to eat today.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's like
3
I
days
have 7 hours.
So long.
It did. Luckily I got busy in between there. So my hour, like 3 and 4 went by really fast. And then all of a sudden I was, but you know what went the longest is because you were 2 hours ahead of me. So you broke your fast and I knew you were eating. And I was like, oh, so that last hour before I broke my fast
now
was killing me. I was like, I know she's eating. And that's why I kept texting you. What are you eating? I want to know
how's
specifically,
it going?
What are you eating? How are you feeling? Yeah, no, day 3 was, for me, because we had very different experiences with day 3. Day 2 was hard. I was hungry, but it wasn't so hard that I couldn't do it. It just definitely made me aware that I had no food in my system, so that I was very aware of my body and that there was no food there. But day 3, I woke up, I felt a little nauseous when I woke up. And then I drank water with mineral salt in it. And then that took that away. And then the whole rest of the day, I was just very, I wouldn't say cautious, but like I was anticipating more weakness than I actually had.
Oh, that's great.
So I just took it easy and it was great. And then I got to break my fast. But I know you had a different experience, except for we both woke up nauseous.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, in retrospect, doing some research, I really had developed a dehydration and electrolyte imbalance issue. And so really on day 2, I was starting to feel muscle weakness, headaches, and tiredness, right? I had a very clear mind-wise, the brain fog was gone. I was very wide awake, but my body was tired. And so by day 3, like that started on day 2, but by day 3, it was really hardcore. I rested a lot, which they say to do. So maybe that's pretty common, but I was really feeling it. Like I was just exhausted all day. And it went by pretty quickly because I knew. I was like, I got to eat today. Today's the day. Like, you know what I mean? The countdown was great. And I had a lot of things to distract me to stay busy with, but it was definitely a challenge.
I was so productive. I swear the 3 days, like when the mental fog lifted, I felt like I felt 5 years ago. And I could not be happier about that. I felt like I did 3 weeks of work in 3 days because mentally I was there. So I was like, let's go, let's do this. And I was so productive. And I was like, oh, I need to do this more often just for the productivity aspect.
Yeah, no, it was huge. I got a lot of stuff done despite having those a little bit of a hiccup with the fast itself. I definitely got a lot done in the 3 days. And the big thing was just breaking my fast and like recovering. I was really tired and needed to sleep like hardcore. And then I was amazing the next day. So like really I just needed to refeed and like rebalance my electrolytes. And then I was ready to go for sure.
I was like, oh, I'm not going to work out because I'm going to probably not feel good about the fast. So I didn't set my alarm. I set it differently for that. And I'm kind of sad that I did because I woke up feeling great. I was like, oh, I totally could have worked out today. You assume that you're going to be weak because you had 3 days of not eating. Yeah. But then you were fine.
Yeah. And really like right now we're actually recording the day after, right? Just to be clear, because I was feeling so tired that I was like, I can't even, and we usually record in the evenings. So I was like, we gotta go another day. We gotta recover first. And so I slept for 9.5 hours and I woke up today feeling better than I have in a long time. So I really feel like the day after I'm feeling so many benefits from it, like clear-headed, lots of energy, all the things. seriously enjoying food. Like everything tastes better. Let's be real.
Everything tastes
So,
better and you appreciate it.
yes. Yeah. A
Like,
whole new
ooh, I get to eat
appreciation for food.
I get to eat this peach right now. This is the
Yeah.
best peach I've ever had.
You know what I had that was
Yeah.
amazing today was like apple slices with like almond honey butter.
Oh,
And I think it was the best thing I've had in years. And I don't know if it's just because it's just a different appreciation. But the funny thing is when I broke my fast and I ate, everything I ate it tasted weird. It tasted like sour. But I had my husband try it and it tasted normal to him. Like my taste buds literally just didn't like compute the food the same as it used to, right? It took a little while for my taste buds to adjust to food again, I feel like.
I
Did
was
you
like
have that
that.
happen?
Yeah, I was like that, and it didn't taste the same. And
Yeah.
but I wonder if it's like, because we're in ketosis, that I wonder if that
Mm.
changed the way food tasted when, now that it's reverting back to burning sugar,
Yeah,
using sugar
maybe.
as a thing. Like, I wonder if it's a conversion factor.
Yeah, which we are going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about ways to prepare for an extended fast, if that's something that you want to try, breaking an extended fast, and then a lot of the benefits that you get from a long fast versus shorter intermittent fasting, which would be stuff like stem cell production, a deeper dive into what ketosis is, autophagy, a metabolic reset, and combating brain fog. So we're going to talk about all those things today, as well as some more Q&As from the community. So yeah, that was a crazy experience. I really do feel like that was like a misogi. I really felt like I could have seriously eaten and screwed things up yesterday. So
I did not think that I was going to be able to do it.
yeah, I really thought I should just eat right now. But then I knew that I'd let you down. And then I was like, and then we're podcasting about it. I can't be like, guys, I failed. I failed my first misogi because I wanted a cheeseburger.
Well, we kind of already failed it because of misogi, you're not really supposed to tell people about it or publicize.
Oh, that's
so we
true.
are.
Although
kind of
we're not going live with this until after, but we will be telling people about it. You're right.
Yeah.
That is true.
But it is definitely challenging. It was definitely uncomfortable, and it definitely made me feel like I could do hard things.
Yeah.
And just the mental brain fog lift off of you is amazing. And then it resets your whole digestive system. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. The reason why I wanted to do this was because intermittent fasting, doing like a 20 or 24-hour fast, can give you a lot of the benefits that an extended fast does, like autophagy and ketosis and those things. But one of the things that an extended fast does is it can trigger your body to produce to up its stem cell production.
Mhm.
And this is where it all gets very sciencey. I'm not going to try to be all sciencey, but what I will say is I had a knee injury when I was in my 20s. I was skiing and had a bad fall. Just a little piece of advice. Don't go up on a mountain in Park City with jelly legs after a major kickboxing workout. That's all I'm going to say, okay? Because you go up there thinking, I got this. It's fine. My legs are a little shaky, not a big deal. And then you accidentally hit a mogul on a black diamond that crosses across the easy slope, and your knee's never the same again for the rest of your life. So,
Hey, is that the kickboxing class you used to do with Sherry?
yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that. Anyway,
Yeah, it
go on.
was. Yeah, I used to do this amazing kickboxing class. It was like the best workout ever for getting your aggression out, because it was like self-defense, kick a bag, punch it, it's like kind of like your boot camp where it's just like super intense workout, right?
Yeah.
There's like all those things wrapped into one. And I just had discovered it like the week before I went on the ski outing, and I knew I shouldn't have gone, but I was like, I kind of was obligated to go. And anyway, it ended up being a total disaster where like you hear your knee pop, and then the big red sled has to come up and stabilize you and take you to the bottom of the mountain.
So have you done other things to help your knee?
Yeah. Okay. So what happened is I tore my LCL and my MCL, and then I completely snapped my ACL. So it was basically like the two side ligaments and the middle one. I snapped the middle one, tore the side ones. And ended up needing surgery. I had to like be in a brace for several months, getting surgery, physical therapy for a year. This is a pretty common knee surgery, especially with avid skiers, which I am not an avid skier. I am a lightly enjoys skiing. And now I am a hangout at the lodge while everyone else skis. But anyway, long story short, I spent a lot of years recovering from that. I went back to kickboxing, but it was really difficult. Like I just have always had knee pain. I always had to be careful with things. And then another funny story, I keep re-injuring it. And every time I've re-injured it and gone to the, is it an orthopedic surgeon?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've been in the orthopedic surgeon's office, that's when I found out I was pregnant. So twice with my last 2 kids. I happened to be in there for a re-injured knee, like getting results from an MRI or something. And those are the day that's been like in their office when I was like,
maybe this is a sign.
Am I pregnant? Like, because like they took my blood pressure and it was low. And funnily enough, I had like itchy armpits, which I know sounds funny, but it must be a hormonal thing that like my armpits never itch, but they just itch when I'm pregnant. I don't know why.
Like the whole time or just the beginning?
Kind of the whole time, but mostly at the beginning.
Huh.
So that was like an early indicator, I came to find out. But it was always at the orthopedic surgeon's office after I re-injured this knee. So the knee has been like this reoccurring thing in my life. And as I get older and I want to do more things, I ran a couple half marathons. I have been lifting weights. But now if I do anything, it hurts again. And I don't want to do more surgeries because I don't feel like I feel like surgery is like a last resort, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've been searching for ways to kind of help maybe repair it on my own if I can. And then I started to hear about stem cell therapies that you can go to like Panama or different places. I think there's a place I think Ways to Well actually does stem cell therapy where they can inject stem cells into an injured joint. And a lot of people have avoided like knee replacements and hip replacements and stuff doing these therapies, right?
Mm.
So then as I was doing more research, it turns out a 72-hour fast can actually trigger your body to produce more stem cells on its own, and that it will repair injuries with the stem cells, right? They do a lot of things. And so that is how we got to this journey today. So here is what I learned about stem cells in doing the research. It actually does a lot of things, not just like injury tissue repair. Like it does immune system rejuvenation. I have all this written down on note cards so that I don't forget things. Huge on anti-aging, right? And then because it's kind of goes in hand with autophagy. And the way that it works is that you do this 72-hour fast, and that's not when the stem cell regeneration happens. You're basically fasting a water fast for 72 hours. And at the end, when you start refeeding, that's when your body is triggered to, because like in this whole time, autophagy has been ramping up, right? And it's been recycling damaged cells, doing all of its work. But then when you start eating again and you get those nutrients, you're triggering to your body, hey, like we've like recycled a lot of things, but we need new things. So like then it stimulates your body to generate or regenerate stem cells to go in there and continue the repairs, right? And refill and I don't know, what's the word? Refill?
Rejuvenate.
Rejuvenate.
Is that why they say that like it helps with like your skin and like, it'll help you look younger and then it'll help you feel younger because it helps you rejuvenate new cells because as you get older, it stops.
Yeah, and it like repairs your mitochondria, which is huge for cell energy production. So all of your cells are going to operate more efficiently and better like they did when you were younger, right? Or more efficiently before you were sick or had all these injuries and things. And so it's supposed to help with all those things. It's going to be like a system-wide like overhaul. Yeah, like when your car needs a tune-up, right? It's kind of like that. And so it's fantastic. The other thing that I found out that was very interesting is that it's great for therapeutic applications. So if you actually do want to go in for a stem cell therapy for a joint or just an overall system stem cell therapy, doing the 72-hour fast ahead of time can actually just boost the effects of other stem cell therapies.
So we'll highlight it and make it magnified.
Yeah, exactly. And also like for people who have found out that they have cancer and things like that, and they're undergoing like chemotherapy, a 72-hour fast can also very much help with the impact of that being more effective. So,
that's interesting.
Who knew? That was just
Yeah.
stuff that we learned along the way.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's been fascinating to dive into this. And that's why I'm like, intermittent fasting has been a huge tool for us, but the
Yeah.
extended fast has this other thing that can have benefits, but it's much harder to achieve, right? Like that was
Mhm.
probably one of the hardest things I've done in a long time. So
Yeah. It wasn't as hard as I have imagined it to be, but
yeah.
it definitely was uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think if I hadn't had the electrolyte imbalances, it wouldn't have been so hard. It would have just been a little more manageable, but still worth it. I mean, I'm still hoping it's going to be worth it. Today, I feel great.
No, I
So
definitely think it's worth it. I'm so jazzed about it that I'm like ready to do it again. Not necessarily this week, but I could, if the science would have said you need to do it every month, I would have like, okay, I could do it once a month, but it's not beneficial to do it monthly. It's more of like a trimester or, like every
yeah,
3
like
months.
quarterly at most,
Quarterly
right?
at most, yeah.
Because it's just a very intense process.
Yes.
And so you can overstress your body doing it too frequently.
Yes.
Also, why would you want to do that quarterly? That's all I want to know.
I know. Now that you've done it, like,
Yeah.
and how often do you think you would do it? Like once a year, twice a year?
That's what I was thinking is once a year, maybe twice a year. Like if I was really like if I come out of this feeling like a lot of benefits, then I probably would be willing to do it twice a year, but at most twice a year because it's just like I really had to set aside 3 days, you know what I mean? And it was not a vacation. So
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable. It's like be uncomfortable for 3 days. And the kind of uncomfortable that like where I love food was really hard. So
Well,
worth it though.
I am very lucky that I work because I was so busy that like distracted me most of the time. So I just had to
Yeah.
deal with it at night, even though at work was probably my hardest because that was day 2 and I have routines, right? So at this
Yeah.
time I do this and so I had the routine, and so that part was challenging. But
Yeah.
overall, once you get past it, as long as you drink your bubbly water,
It helps.
and it makes you feel full again with your mineral salt, and then you moved on and you went, and then all of a sudden it was over, and then you almost went past, once you went past the feeding time that you normally would, then you weren't, it wasn't like you kind of passed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That makes
that part was
sense.
nice.
I agree. So let's talk about a couple of things that we learned for preparing the extended fast because that was, I think, where I went wrong. And we talked about this a little bit on our last episode. But I definitely think it's key to do a couple 24-hour fasts the weeks leading in because it's really preparing your body for that process of switching from glucose as your main source to ketones, right? You're switching from glucose to fat burning. And that switch is not, I mean, I think it's okay when you're adjusted, right? They call it like fat adapted, but I haven't been doing that for a long time. So I kind of just jumped right into this. And I feel like I had a rougher experience because of it, where you had been doing some fasts ahead of time, as well as eating just generally a lower carb diet.
Or when you do like the keto lifestyle, you are already kind of in that regularly. So it's not going to be as shocking to your body if you eat the keto lifestyle and then you fast, like going into a fast, you're already kind of in that frame of mind. But I definitely, the days led up to it, I wasn't necessarily fasting, but I was definitely eating more protein, no carbs, no sugar, because it's like a drug. And so it just makes you want to eat more. And then that's where the heartache comes in when you're fasting, is because you're addicted and you're like, I just need more. So I definitely was good on that sense. But I have an analogy. I know you usually have the analogies, but this time I have one. Do you want to hear my analogy?
Yes, I do. Let's hear it.
So think of your car as a hybrid car. So glucose is like gas. It's normal. You run on gas, and which your gas is like your carbs and sugar for quick energy, right? So that is the basics. And then the ketones is the electric mode. During a fast, your gas runs out, so your body switches to electric, and then that's the fat stores, right? And so producing ketones as clean, efficient fuel. And so by day 3 in our fast, you're fully electric, you're feeling steady, and you have energy, if your electrolytes are not off, which is what you experienced. So I love that analogy because inside your mind, you're like, okay, like gas is like food, basically. And
I
then once
love
you switch
that.
to your ketones, like electric mode, then you're like going clean sailing. You're clean, efficient, and
Yeah.
your body will function better.
Yeah, and that switch happens earlier, right? Like it's usually like that can happen within a 24-hour fast,
Yeah.
which is why a 24-hour fast can be so powerful. But in the 72-hour, like you're for sure, like you're 100% in it, which is
Yeah.
a fantastic thing. So that's a perfect analogy. It's great.
Because depending on your body, depending on your metabolism, like all the different functions in your body, some people could switch over quicker. Like if
Yeah.
you're already in a keto diet, like you could switch over, in a daily.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what your lifestyle looks like, but at the extreme
Yeah.
amount.
Right. And it depends on how much you have in your glycogen stores, right? Like, which is why a
Yes.
lower carb, lower sugar, more keto type diet, you have lower glycogen stores. So you probably switched over a lot quicker than I did.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Woo. I love the analogies. They just
I
make more sense
know
in my head.
you're very good at the analogies. I love your analogies.
I'm actually terrible at analogies, so I work really hard at them.
Oh, well, it's improving because I was like,
Yeah.
I love hearing
Yeah, no,
them.
I work on them and I usually run them past my husband because a lot of times I come up with an analogy and he's like, "What?" And I'm like, like this and this and this. And he's like, I mean, I guess it makes sense. You
He's
got to
like, you're
work on
the only
that.
one that's going to understand that analogy.
Yeah, he's like, when you explain point A to point B to point C, like I get what you're saying, but I never would have gotten there without you.
Oh, that's really funny. So far, I feel like on this podcast, your analogies have been spot on.
Yeah, no, I've been practicing, so we're good. But that's why I love them so much because I'm like, I have to work hard at them. But they just make more sense in my head. So you're welcome, everybody, for all of the awesome analogies that I spend a lot of time preparing. That everybody's like, whatever, Mallory, it's fine.
I thought it came to you just naturally and you came up with them off the top of your head. I'm impressed.
Oh, dang, I should have leaned into that.
Yeah, you should have kept that inside. You should have kept that as a secret.
I know. TMI, right? I'm always sharing too much information.
Oh, that's funny.
The other thing that was interesting about long fasts, just thinking about the difference, right? Because intermittent fasting has been a tool that we've used for a long time. But I wanted to just spend today talking about where a long fast might differentiate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that people commonly say is that like a 72-hour fast can be like a metabolic reset. And in all the research that we've done, that's kind of true and kind of not, right? It really depends on the person because somebody who's already metabolically very healthy is not going to see as big of a change as somebody who's like metabolically very unhealthy, who might actually get a significant metabolic reset. But what it does do is a long fast does increase insulin sensitivity and it can recalibrate your hunger hormones, right? Which we talked about before, your leptin and ghrelin hormones, which are the hormones that make you feel full or make you feel hungry. Those can get out of whack with the types of foods that we eat. And so a long fast can kind of recalibrate those so that they work more efficiently. So that is kind of like a reset button for your hunger cues and your fullness cues. But all of these things are kind of temporary, right? Like you're going to do a 72-hour fast and it's going to recalibrate a lot of these things. But then if you just go back to exactly what you've always done and don't do any other sort of fast or anything that kind of reinforce the changes in your body, then it's just like with muscles, right? Like you can build muscle, but then if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same sort of concept. The other thing that I learned that I thought was really interesting is that it can cause something called your IGF-1. I've never heard of this. It's the insulin-like growth factor 1. When you do a longer fast, an extended fast, this drops, which reduces growth signaling and promotes cellular stress resistance, which further supports autophagy and repair. So basically, a longer fast reduces this insulin-like growth factor, and that actually makes it easier. Like that makes autophagy and repair more effective. So I was like, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's like it does more, goes quicker. Mm-hmm. Like it's a boost to those processes. which I thought was really interesting. I was like, how have I never heard about this when I've done so much research?
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I do think that like with all the different resets, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Like you're resetting your body. But I do like the point. I just want to highlight the point you made that like you can do all the fast, you can do all the health benefits. It's almost like you can do any of the health benefits we talk about. But if you do it and then you just go back to your old ways, it's going to destroy all the work you've like done.
Yeah. Like
So you
without some
really
significant
do,
change.
yeah. Once you do the 3-day fast, like if you go and eat a donut, you know what I mean? Like if you go back to eating the carbs and sugar, you're going to go back to getting like re-craving it and getting yourself addicted to it. And
well, and especially all hours of the day, right? Like where you're having a donut at 11:30 p.m. right before you go to sleep, like you're spiking your glucose and then you're trying to sleep. Like you're gonna have a terrible night's sleep. And it just is this vicious cycle that I think a lot of us have lived in and never really thought about. Like we never really thought about the fact that we shouldn't eat that late at night when we want to sleep, like that your body trying to digest food the same time you're trying to get a good sleep cycle, how detrimental that is.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. And so I think that the benefit of an extended fast is really achieved when it's hand in hand with like incorporating some intermittent fasting. And the nice thing about intermittent fasting is that the flexibility. Again, like this is a tool that is crazy useful, crazy flexible, and just keeps on giving. Like as far as like wanting to achieve longevity, wanting to stay looking young, right? Wanting to be physically active and feeling young, like this is like a must do, in my opinion. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah. And I feel like it's very attainable.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Which is why I love listening to Jen Stevens' intermittent fasting stories podcast, because you just hear stories from so many people that
Around the world.
around the world that were like, some of them were like very, very unhealthy, dealing with some major health issues, and just completely changed their life just by choosing when they eat and when they don't. Like it's insane to me. But like I love the stories, are so inspirational. I just love it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that a lot. So, yeah, I feel like between the brain fog and the stem cell production, the autophagy is huge during the 72-hour fast. I'm just trying to make sure I covered everything that I was thinking of.
What surprised you the most on day 3?
Ooh, man, that's a good question. What surprised me the most on day 3 was that even though I was having like electrolyte imbalance issues, mentally, I was so crystal clear. Like it was crazy how I didn't realize that I was operating in such a fog.
Yeah.
It was crazy. What about you?
I was very productive. Like I couldn't agree with you more. Like just the mental clarity. Like I love it. I would do it again just for that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like I was very, very productive in all 3 days, but specifically the 3rd day, I was the most productive.
I still feel it today on day 4.
Me
honestly.
too.
It's amazing. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like it's like, I don't know if you wear glasses, you know what I mean? And you have dirty lenses and you don't realize how much you're not seeing things clearly until you clean your lenses. And then you're like, oh my gosh. Or you put in contacts and you're like, I was walking around like that. I couldn't even see anything. That's exactly what it feels like.
That is very true. It is very true. So we have questions from our community, and this kind of alluded to what we were just talking about. Can I do a 3-day fast often, like weekly or just monthly? And so,
oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, so we kind of alluded to it, but basically 1 to 3 months. Like you can do it monthly, but I wouldn't recommend it. Like I would do it 3 months just to keep the side effects going from fading, because they'll definitely fade. So you kind of do need to do maintenance.
Yeah.
But if you do IF like regularly, intermittent fasting regularly, I don't think you need to do the long fasts as much.
I agree. And that's kind of what you and I talked about trying to do like a day where a week that we fast for 24 hours. And then you're getting a lot of the benefits of like autophagy and, switching into to ketosis and things that if you do, it's like taking, a multivitamin, or which I've used as an example many times, because over time you really feel the difference and you
Yeah.
really see the difference. And it's the same thing with like intermittent fasting. These are little things, little changes in your body that add up over time. And so I really feel like I would do a 72-hour fast. I think we talked about this at most 2 times a year, but I'm also planning to do intermittent fasting, continue to do those regularly. So
Yes. Yeah.
that's
I
kind of
agree.
this maintenance, right? And the continued progress. And then a 72-hour fast is kind of like a reset, pushing for stem cell production for injuries and
For deeper health issues, longevity.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Skin
Longevity,
removal.
deeper health issues. Exactly.
All right, another question from the community. How much weight will I lose on a 3-day water fast? And is it real fat loss? And this was interesting because we lost very different. Like I lost 3.7 pounds. And then once I started eating again, I went down to 3.1 pounds. So I had lost I could gain back 0.6 of a pound. So mine wasn't that, I didn't dramatically lose, but I didn't dramatically gain it back either. And then what was yours, Mallory?
I lost 7 pounds in 3 days, which was crazy. And when I ate again, I regained 2 overnight. So basically 5 pounds by the end of it,
Yeah,
which was
that's pretty
crazy.
good.
Yeah, but I do know that I had a lot of water retention going on because I was eating foods that I know make me puffy, and I felt puffy going into it. So that doesn't surprise me.
Into the fast?
Yeah, like when I started the 72-hour fast, I was like, I feel puffy because I ate a lot of delicious things that my body doesn't like, but I like.
So I think people can normally expect to lose 3 to 7 pounds, but 2 to 4 pounds will be water weight, basically.
Yeah,
Right?
most of it's water weight, but there will be some fat. Really, the big thing with the long fast is the deeper health benefits. And it will beneficially help you with a little bit of weight loss, but I really feel like the regular intermittent fasting that's like a 16-8 fasting and eating window, or a weekly or 2 24-hour fasts a week, like that's going to be, if you do that regularly, that's going to help you a lot more with weight loss, if that's your goal.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is more for health benefits than for weight loss. Yeah. But it was fun.
It was an adventure, man.
No, I mean, it was fun to lose the fat, is what I'm saying, the weight loss.
I was like, it was fun for you, Larissa. Jeez.
No. I mean, even though we really do this for longevity purposes and for fasting as medicine, basically, then it's fun that was a side effect that you got to lose a few pounds.
Yeah. And it always feels good when your pants are a little looser. Let's be honest, when you have our genetics, where clearly we like to work out, but we also like to eat tacos. So,
All right. This question is for you.
Okay.
She's like, I'm exhausted on day 3, not energized. Is this worse for women?
Huh.
Because I feel like it kind of goes in with how you were feeling.
Yeah. Well,
with the electrolyte depletion, and all that stuff.
Well, one of the things I do know that is when we talk about cycle syncing and stuff, from the research that I did, the general consensus was if you're going to do the 72-hour fast, do it in the follicular phase of your cycle. So that can be a contributing factor. And I did. This was in my follicular phase. Yes, I know we were like, the timing's perfect. Because if you're in your luteal phase, it can be overstressing. So that can be a contributor. When you're exhausted on day 3, usually that's an electrolyte depletion, right? And that is definitely what I was suffering from. And as we all know, women are more sensitive to stress. So this is harder or worse for women, I would say yes. We have to be more careful.
And that's when you have to make sure that you're putting in your mineral salt into your water for natural electrolytes, right? You need to do that.
And that was the crazy thing, is because I was straight up on the second half of day 2 and day 3. I had the Baja Gold mineral salt, and I was literally just licking it, taking pinches all day.
Really?
No joke. And it wasn't enough. I don't know what was going on with my body that I could not. I was just drinking cups of water. I think I had, by the time I opened my eating window in the afternoon, I had like 7 cups of water, which is like 56 ounces, which in the early afternoon, that's a pretty good amount of water. And I was licking salt about every half an hour between that because I just felt like that's what it was. And I still couldn't get it rebalanced until I was having like soup and broth. It was crazy. Yeah. So anyway, it just is one of those things that maybe once it's off balance, it takes a lot to rebalance it, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I had like been majorly hydrated before, which would be the advice that I would give is like, you got to be hydrating just like if you're going to go for like a girls' weekend, right? You know that it's going to get crazy. So you're like sleeping and hydrating like crazy before you go, right? You got to do the same thing for a 72-hour fast, girls. Okay.
I love how your analogy was a girls' weekend when I was thinking like before a camping trip or a hiking trip, you got to really like hydrate.
Look, we all know what's really fun. Okay. And it's girls' weekends. So
girls' weekends are very fun. I agree.
They're the best. Okay. Do we have any more questions? Let's see.
One was me, basically. Why do I feel so good on day 3? Is this normal or am I just weird? So on day 3, you're not weird. You're amazing. And then that just means that you are more successful going into the fast, right? So then that means your body was more prepared to transition and go to that electric mode. And so you're in deep ketosis, like you're filling your brain, you're reducing your hunger. And then when you shifted, then you got mental clarity, euphoria, your ketones provided stable energy and enhanced pathways and different things to just help you become more efficient in life and in processes, I feel like. So it was pretty interesting. They say that 20 to 30% in fasting studies show an increase in autophagy and then clearing damaged cells out, and they feel light. They have a light feeling on day 3.
Oh, that's nice.
I definitely
that means you've done it successfully.
Yes, and like did on day 3 you felt very thin.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I felt very depuffied, which is my word. Like I didn't feel puffy. I didn't feel inflamed. Like my jeans were loose. I just felt loose in all my clothing.
I think it was definitely the anti-inflammatory because like I wear an Apple Watch and the wristband that's always fits perfectly was loose. I was like, I'm going to have to tighten it, which never happens because it's pretty tight already. And so it really was just extreme anti-inflammation, I think.
Yeah.
Which inflammation can serve a good purpose, but I do really feel like the American diet, a lot of the foods we come into contact with and things just create an abundance of inflammation that is creating problems. So that is what we refer to when we talk about inflammation. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So one thing that we didn't cover is refeeding. What did you eat when you broke your fast?
Oh, I did exactly what Gary Brecka recommended doing. Actually, I take that back. I'm a liar. I did not. He said to have a cup of bone broth and then 30 minutes later eat your meal. I did have the bone broth sitting there, but I didn't take that. I went straight for my eggs. My daughter like had scrambled me eggs with some spinach in it, and we put some, some mineral salt in there, and I had a little bit of salsa in there, and that's what I ate. So it was very like simple. It was simple to eat, simple to process. Like it was simple. And then I got ravenous and I was like, I'm hungry still. And then I had a peach and then I had a bag of nuts.
Those are all good choices.
Yeah. Well, but I didn't want to bring bad choices to work. Like I had to like, because I'm at work and I had to bring my lunch, I intentionally brought healthy choices so that I could do that. So I was very thankful that I did that. And then by the time I got home and I ate dinner, I had some mashed potatoes and some turkey, but like that's all I had. And then I didn't eat for the rest of the time because I, like what you said, I was full.
Yep. Yeah, it's that appetite recalibration is the word I was trying to think of. I started with some soup. I had some chicken noodle soup and some like little saltine crackers. And then I had a Jimmy John's sandwich. And it was the most delicious thing I've ever had. So
yeah, they're good anyway.
Yeah, but my approach really was start slow. And that was the biggest thing is refeed slowly because your body, your system hasn't had food for 72 hours. And so you want to give it something gently because especially where I was in like that depletion place, right? That electrolyte imbalance. Oh my gosh. like words are leaving me. I had to be very careful. So I actually didn't even eat all the soup. I mostly just drank the broth. And then I waited. I took a couple bites of the sandwich and then I waited 10 minutes and then I took a couple more bites. Like I just kind of like did it in stages. And by the time it had been maybe 40 minutes, I felt great. Like I was just like, oh, thank you for food. And then I finished the sandwich, but I didn't really have anything else for hours after that because the sandwich was pretty filling. So
Well, it's interesting because in Gary Brecka, who is a human biologist, like when he does his fasting, which he does, group fasting all the time, water fasting, but in his protocol, he tells you to start at 7, like on day 0, which, we started at 3. And he said to start at 7. And I thought about that when we were breaking the fast. I was like, I can see why you start at 7 and then you end at 7, because then you're eating a light meal and then you're going to sleep.
yeah.
And it kind of, the time naturally allows your body to eat and then wind down a little bit and then go to bed, and then your body can rest all night. You know what I mean? And then you start normal again the next day. So it's interesting, like that time specifically. I was like, oh, I can see after, because at 3 o'clock when we broke our fast, we ate, and then it's almost like enough time before dinner that you could technically eat again.
Yeah.
You have enough time in there to eat again.
Yeah, that's when I had the apple and the almond honey butter, was because it had been enough time. Like a few hours later, I was like, I don't want to eat a meal. I'm not hungry enough, but I had a snack. And so that was my snack. It was very good.
So I think there was logic behind that time, because then you would eat,
too.
And then you go to bed and let your body kind of recover and then do it.
Yeah. My problem was I didn't want my day 3 to be that long. So I was actually really grateful that we got to break our fast earlier.
Oh yeah, that's true. That I can see.
Like the mental challenge, right? So
yeah, I can see the wisdom behind that too.
Yep. It just really depends on what works for you. It's like really where you just have to figure out, like, there could be recommendations, but you got to do what works for you. You got to be smart for yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been quite the journey. This has been a fun one for us to cover.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, intermittent fasting, whether you do daily or an extended fast, this is a cost-saving, no-brainer, longevity, health, youthful, everything you can think of hack. Like this is just one that everybody should have in their tool belt and be using.
Yeah. Yeah. You should try it out. Start slow. If like you normally have a 10-hour or 12-hour eating window, just shorten that by 2 hours, go to 10 hours, and then do that for a week and then shorten it to 8 hours. And then most people usually fall between 6 and 8 hours of an eating window in intermittent fasting anyway. And then if you were really serious and you were trying to lose weight, then you might even go lower to the 4 or 5 hour eating window. But don't stress out your body. Like it depends on your goals and your health goals and all that stuff. So I think after this, we can, what were you saying? What did you call it? Meal-less Mondays?
Meal-less Mondays. Yep.
Yeah. So on Mondays, like we were talking that like you could literally like eat dinner on Sunday night with your family and then just don't eat again until Tuesday morning.
Yep. And it's every week. It's just, if you plan that into your schedule, then it's just, it can end up being like almost a 36 hour, it's like a 33 or 34 hour fast, depending on when you have breakfast. And it just, I think my takeaway after doing the 3-day fast, having fasted for years, is I'm going to get so much more out of just doing like a weekly mealless Monday, and then only do the 72-hour fast occasionally for deeper health issues. Like I really feel like you get the most bang for your buck in the shorter term intermittent fasting, time restricted eating, with an occasional 24 to 36 hour fast for autophagy purposes, right? Because that's the process where your cells recycle damaged components, which peaks clearing dysfunctional mitochondria and proteins, which really just is kind of like a reset button for cellular energy. And we all want more energy. So I think that's an important part of it.
It's basically taking out the trash.
Yeah. Like clean things up. Take the trash out.
Take out the trash out.
You can get around your house better and function, right? So exactly. Good analogy.
You're growing on me, man.
It's like all we're going to do all day on these episodes now.
Just come up with one analogy after another.
Yeah. Done. We're done. That's all the content we need. Okay, we want to hear from you guys. We want to know what works for you, and just join us in our Facebook group, My Wellness Rewired, on any of our socials, on our website. We're happy to hear from you, and give it a try. Really think about this one. It's not very often we can say this one's actually going to save you money. I'm just saying. So
Yeah, it literally is free.
yeah, free. It's negative money. You're going to spend less money.
And you're going to feel way better.
Way better. So we had to give this one a lot of time. Thanks for sticking with us through 3 episodes of it. And we'll catch you guys next time. All right, you wellness rock stars. That's a wrap on this episode of My Wellness Rewired, Hacking Women's Health. We've had a blast dishing out the hacks and laughs, but hold up, let's keep it real.
Yep, we are not doctors. We are just sharing our biohacking adventures and learning right alongside you. Nothing we say is medical advice, so always, always check with your healthcare provider before trying any new wellness tricks.
Absolutely. This podcast is all about inspiration and entertainment, not prescriptions. So join our Facebook group for more sassy wellness vibes. Catch you next time.